everyone, I'm Teacher Chen from Kangaroo Study. Welcome back to our channel again. Now, in this video, we are going to continue our World Math Olympiad adventures by looking at this new topic. So this is what we call the working backwards. So without further ado, let us take a look at our first example question. So the first stall has some apples, half were sold on the first day. The next day, 450 more apples were bought. On the third day, half of these apples plus another 50 were sold, leaving 600 behind. So they're asking how many apples were there at first. So everyone, when we are thinking about this question, we'll notice a few characteristics here. First, we do not know about the total at first, but we know about the exchanges at each of the steps. And the last thing we know is the final number. This is 600. So in order to find the starting number, what we can do is we can draw a flowchart to show the process. For example, at first, since we do not know about the number, let's just use a box there. Later, we can fill in the number. So during the first day, half of them were sold. This means we have to take the total divided by 2. So we got half left now. Next day, we have bought another 450 apples. So now, do we have more apples or less apples compared to before? Very good, everyone. We got more apples compared to before. So plus 450 here. Now, on the third day, half of the apples were sold. So divide the total by 2 again. Now, here is the tricky part. They say plus 50 were sold. So many of us would think, hey, here I can do plus 50. But let me tell you, that would be wrong. You know why? This after selling half of the apples, we sell additional 50 apples. So another 50 apples was removed from the total. So the total number isn't more or less than before? Perfect. This is less than before. So it's less than before. This part we have to do minus 50. So the final number is 600. Now, how do we find the number at the start? Let's do it step by step. So we have to think, which number minus 50 equal to 600? Oh, so we know that this number, it must be more than 600. Minus 50, then is 600. So then easily we can think of the number. Very good, 650. So the calculation we are doing here is the opposite of the minus here. We are doing the addition. So when you go this way, when you work it forwards, this minus 50. Now when we work it backwards, it changes from minus 50 into a plus 50. So 600 plus 50, this part is 650. So during the next step, the total divided by 2 is 650. Now of course we know the total at first. Is it more or less? Yes, the total is more. So divide by 2 equal to 650, what we can do is we change the divide into times. 650 times 2. So at first, this is 1,300. Now after adding 450 is 1,300. At first it's more or less. Very good, this is less. So now we have to do the opposite. Change the plus into a minus. Minus 450. So now this number will be 850. Now divide by 2, we need to change it into? Yes, we change it into times 2. So 850 times 2. Now the number at first is 1,700. So this is for the example question. So let's summarize on the key point we've learned from here. Now in this question, we'll notice there's only one quantity here. It's only about the apples. So when there's only one thing that's not known to us, the characteristics here is we know about the final number, but we do not know about the starting number. And then we also know about how it changes at each of the steps. So what we can do is we can use a flowchart, like what we did just now. When we are doing working backwards, what should we do, everyone? If it's a plus when working forwards, good. When it's working backwards, now you change the plus into a minus. How about minus? Yes, change it into a plus. How about times? Times, change it into divide. And then divide, change it into times. This is for the first question. So let's move on to the challenge for today. Now, let's look at the questions. So 2 pails contain 26 liters of water in total. First, half of pail B is poured into pail A. Next, half of the pail A is poured into the pail B. Then 5 liters from B are poured into A. In the end, A has 2 liters more than B. So how many liters were in A at first? So Aaron, let me ask you this question. How many quantities do we have now? Very good. Now we got 2 quantities. Just now it was only 1 quantity, but now there's 2. So now these exchanges happen between 2 of them. What can we do? Do we know about the starting number? No, we do not know about the starting number. How about the ending number? We notice that this time the ending number is not given to us, but we know about the relationships between them. So what we can do is, we can again draw the flow chart. But this time take note, because we got 2 quantities, so we are going to draw 2 flow charts, 1 for each of the pail. So pail A and B. At first, number is unknown, so we leave it there first. So half of B was poured into A, so B divided by 2. Now we must be wondering, how about A? Do we know how many liters were added into A? At this moment, we do not know. So let's just write down a plus a question mark. This is the one we have to figure out later on. Now, at the second step, A is poured half into B. So the amount in A divided by 2. Now, how about B? B is more than before. But do we know about how much more? No, we do not know at this moment. So what we can do is, we can also write a plus and then a question mark. Also later on, we can figure out the value. So at the next step, they say that 5 liters from B are poured into A. So B minus 5. A plus 5. So this gives us a final amount in each of the pails here. But we do not know about the final amount. It says that A is 2 liters more than B. That's it. Oh wait, teacher. We've noticed there's one more thing we haven't used yet. The total is 26. So let's think. At first, the total is 26. How about after the first exchange? After the first exchange is still 26. You know why? There is no other pails here. The exchanges only happen between 2 of them. When you add the water into one of the pail, you remove same amount of water from the other pail. So the total is not going to change. After the second step, yes, it's also the same number. So at the final step, can you tell me what's the total? Very good, everyone. This will be 26. So let's write it down here. The total will not change and it will always be 26. So let's make use of the relationship between them in the end. We know that A is 2 more than B. And can we show it in a graph? Yes, definitely we can show it in a graph. Alright, let's draw the model together. So B is the smaller number and A is 2 more than B. After that, we know that the total is 26. Are we able to solve for A and B? Very good, everyone. So let's do it. 26. First, minus the 2 extra here. Minus 2, 24. Then we have 2 equal bars here. So what we can do is, we can just simply divide by 2. Divide by 2, we find that B is 12. Then let's go and find the value for A. So A is 2 more than B. So A will be 12 plus 2. This is 14. So let's fill in the numbers in our flowchart. In the end, at the final step, B is 12. A is 14. Now, when we are doing working backwards, what's the thing we mentioned just now? This is minus 5. So when working backwards, it becomes, yes, it changes into plus 5. So for B, 12 plus 5, and the second last step is 17. How about A? A just now was plus 5. So when you work it backwards, it becomes minus 5. So 14 minus 5, this is 9. So let's check the next step. For A, this is divided by 2. So it changes into, yes, everyone, this changes into times 2. So 9 times 2, this becomes 18. But now, how about B? This is plus a number, so when you do working backwards, it changes into minus a number. But minus what number? You must be wondering, how can we solve this part? There's a question mark here. So let's observe there's one thing that stays the same. What's that? Oh, the total has stayed the same, everyone. You see, the total is always 26 at each of the steps. So look at the second step here. We already know that A has 18 liters. Total is 26. Are we able to find for B? Definitely, we are able to find for B. So make use of the total, 26, minus the 18 liters in A. So B is 8. So let's go backwards all the way to the first step. So for B, divide by 2, when you do working backwards, it becomes times 2. So 8 times 2, this part is 16. So for the other one, again, because we do not know the number, what can we do? Very good, we make use of the total here. Total is unchanged, this is 26. If B is 16, so A will be 26 minus 16. A is 10. So the answer for this question, at first, A is 10. So let's do a quick summary on this question here. In this question, we notice there are multiple quantities that involved. And again, the number at first is not given. The number in the end, we can figure out using the conditions given to us. So in this type of question, what we can do is we can use the flowchart again. Of course, this time we have to draw two separate flowcharts to show the exchanges between the two of them. When we are doing so, at some of the steps, you notice that we got a question mark, right? Those are the part that we don't know how to solve. Oh, right, we make use of the total. The reason is because the exchanges only happen among these quantities. There's no adding or removing from outside. So the total is unchanged. The total is constant. So this way we can use the total to figure out the missing number at each of the single steps. So after we are clear about this question, let me give you this practice question here. Now it's very similar to the question we just did. If you figure out the answer, you can post it in the comment section, or else you can always contact me directly. You can add me on WeChat or WhatsApp, so we can discuss the solutions together. Now, if you want to get more information about the trainings in our centers and the most updated information on all the activities we are having, make sure to join our P3 study group. So once again, I will see you the next time. Peace out!